A tech recruitment firm accidentally exposed over 2 million records for 200,000 job seekers by leaving their database publicly exposed and unprotected. The compromised data included partial social security numbers and passport information. Bitdefender has launched a free decryptor to rescue victims of ShrinkLocker Ransomware, which exploits post-removal flaws in Bitlocker encrypted systems. And this most recent Microsoft Patch Tuesday patched 90 security vulnerabilities, including 2 active exploited threats that could escalate privileges or expose user credentials. And finally, researchers at Watchtower have uncovered critical vulnerabilities in Citrix Session Recording that could let attackers seize control of systems without needing authentication. You're listening to the Daily Decrypt. A significant data breach has recently come to light, involving over 2 million records managed by Alltech Consulting Services, which is a recruitment firm specializing in the tech sectors across the United States and Canada. A cybersecurity researcher named Jeremiah Fowler uncovered this breach, revealing the unprotected personal information of approximately 216,000 job seekers. The compromised data discovered includes names, contact details, partially redacted social security numbers, passport numbers, visa status, along with insights into their professional backgrounds like former employers and even salary expectations. And of course, we're all used to data breaches. All of our data's out there, right? So why do we even care? Well, the more data that gets out there, the easier it is for scammers to scam us, right? That's a consistent concern over why we need to safeguard our data. I also don't want anyone being able to fill out credit card applications in my name or even really know all the accomplishments that I'm claiming on a resume or my salary expectations, things like that. I just want to keep them close. But one of the main concerns I might not have considered is for the H-1B visa holders whose employment status in the United States depends heavily on job sponsorship, which is a particularly vulnerable population to scams that might promise visa support or other too good to be true things in jobs, causing them to leave their current job for a fake job and then being deported or, escorted out of the country. And the company is sort of handling this as an oopsie, and they've password protected this database, but there needs to be more repercussions like fines or investigations into their policies internally. Because this type of thing is much more than an oopsie. They just accidentally publicly exposed a database full of personal information. But luckily, it's not all bad news about data that maybe should have been encrypted, because Bitlocker has just released a free decryptor for victims in the ShrinkLocker Ransomware, which uniquely exploits Microsoft Bitlocker utility. This is all thanks to Bitdefender's advanced analysis of the ShrinkLocker, in which they uncovered a critical time window for data recovery after the removal of protective layers from Bitlocker encrypted drives. Additionally, Bitdefender discovered a vulnerability within the ransomware's script that causes it to enter an infinite loop due to failed reboot permissions, providing another layer of defense opportunity for potential victims. Bitdefender's response not only offers relief through decryption, but also emphasizes broader security strategies, such as leveraging group policy objects and scheduled tasks for network-wide encryption, significantly curbing potential vulnerabilities. They're also encouraged to monitor Windows event logs and to store Bitlocker recovery information in Active Directory domain services. So if you're listening and you happen to be a victim of this ransomware, check out the links in the show notes below to obtain this decryptor from Bitlocker. It might only be a temporary solution, but if you happen to be affected right now, this should work. And another company that's working to safeguard from security vulnerabilities is Microsoft, and we've just received the November 2024 Patch Tuesday, in which they addressed about 90 flaws, including 2 actively exploited vulnerabilities in the Windows NTLM Manager and the Task Scheduler. It also included 4 critical vulnerabilities, 85 important ones, and 1 moderate one. So if you haven't yet, or if it's even an option for you, make sure you're updating as soon as possible. And our final story is about Citrix's Session Recording software and the discovery of critical vulnerabilities by security researchers at Watchtower. The vulnerabilities involve privilege escalation, and remote code execution capabilities through network service account access. Watchtower highlights a fundamental issue tied to Citrix's reliance on inherently insecure .NET binary formatter for deserializing untrusted user data, which is a process facilitated through an MSMQQ accessible over the internet. And there's a bit of contention between the security researchers and Citrix because the security researchers believe that hackers don't really need authentication to exploit these vulnerabilities, but Citrix is saying that authentication is required. In fact, the CEO of Watchtower is stressing the potential that attackers can execute denial of service or information disclosure or even remote code execution. Despite the disagreements, Watchtower is strongly recommending users to upgrade to the latest version in order to mitigate these vulnerabilities, which is also echoed by CISA, or the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And if you're enjoying receiving your cybersecurity news this way, please head to a streaming platform of your choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and give us a rating. We're nearing the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, so if you wouldn't mind heading over there and subscribing, that would greatly help us. We really appreciate it.
This has been the Daily Decrypt. If you found your key to unlocking the digital domain, show your support with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It truly helps us stand at the frontier of cyber news. Don't forget to connect on Instagram or catch our episodes on YouTube. Until next time, keep your data safe and your curiosity alive.